What if everything you thought you knew about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's royal exit was a lie? What if the heartbreaking narrative of pushed out and harassed by the palace was carefully scripted, rehearsed, and monetized long before any cameras caught their tears? It sounds almost impossible. Yet, that is exactly what investigative author Tom Bower claims in his latest explosive book. According to him, the couple didn't just walk away. They planned every detail of their departure with meticulous precision, lining up interviews, media deals, and public sympathy, all while presenting themselves to the world as innocent victims of a centuries-old institution. Imagine the scene: flashing cameras, reporters scrambling, hashtags trending worldwide. A young prince, once the golden boy of the monarchy, steps out with a new bride, eyes glistening with emotion, hands held tightly. The world watches, hearts swelling with empathy, assuming this is a story of heartbreak and betrayal. But behind those perfectly curated public moments, Bower alleges, there was a carefully orchestrated plan, a blueprint to build a global brand while pretending to suffer under royal oppression. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. And now, as Harry and Meghan drag Tom Bower to court to fight these claims, the story takes a new turn. Legal battles are heating up, the media frenzy is intensifying, and the public is divided like never before. Supporters are questioning their hero narrative. Critics are digging into the shadows of their timeline. And everyone is asking the same question: what is real, and what is a performance? Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. Bower's book claims that the famous Oprah interview, the leaks to the press, the strategic timing of Netflix deals, all of it was not spontaneous. It was a well-calculated move, years in the making. The narrative of heartbreak, isolation, and injustice? According to him, part of a branding strategy designed to catapult their image from royalty to global icons, complete with streaming deals, best-selling memoirs, and highly publicized appearances. But let's pause and consider the gravity of this allegation. If true, the public persona that millions embraced as authentic may, in fact, be a polished facade. Every emotional story, every tearful revelation, every whispered complaint about palace life, could it all have been strategically timed to maximize sympathy and, ultimately, profit? And if it was staged, what does that say about the public's perception of trust, authenticity, and the monarchy itself? Take a moment to picture the months leading up to their departure. Secret meetings with advisors, financial planners, and media consultants. Carefully drafted statements about stepping back from royal duties. Megxit becomes a trending topic, yet behind the headlines, plans were being finalized. Bower claims Harry and Meghan knew exactly how the public and the press would react. Every tearful interview, every social media post, every exclusive story, calculated. Every word, every pause, every sigh, designed to fit a narrative that would capture the world's attention. And there's more. Bower alleges that the couple's timing was no accident. By aligning key public statements with the launch of lucrative media deals, they allegedly maximized exposure and revenue potential. Netflix and Spotify contracts, interviews with high-profile journalists, and carefully orchestrated public appearances were all part of a master plan to cement their post-royal brand. And the public? Many were none the wiser, swept along by the emotional tide of their story, unaware that behind the scenes, deals were being inked and strategies implemented. Yet, the most shocking part of Bower's claims isn't just the planning. It's the alleged deception. Harry and Meghan presented themselves as victims, yet according to the book, they were, at the same time, architects of their own destiny. They walked the delicate line between heartbreak and ambition, between vulnerability and calculated strategy. Every tear, every confession, carefully measured to evoke maximum empathy. Every public apology, every emotional recounting of palace injustices, positioned to fuel the narrative of persecution. Now, consider the legal implications. Harry and Meghan's decision to drag Tom Bower to court underscores the high stakes. By challenging the book's claims, they aim to protect their image, their legacy, and their brand. But in doing so, they have inadvertently amplified the very story they claim is false. Media coverage of the lawsuit is rampant, social media is ablaze with speculation, and public curiosity has reached a fever pitch. Every article, every tweet, every discussion reinforces Bauer's claims, even as Harry and Meghan attempt to refute them. And here is where the story gets even more compelling. Bauer doesn't just rely on conjecture. He cites evidence. Insider testimonies, leaked documents, emails, and meticulously researched timelines form the backbone of his narrative. He paints a portrait of a couple who, while publicly claiming to be blindsided by royal protocols and pressures, were privately orchestrating every move to align with their larger vision of independence and global influence. It's a narrative that challenges everything we thought we knew and forces us to reconsider our assumptions about fame, privilege, and authenticity. But what does this mean for the public? For the millions who cheered Harry and Meghan on as they left the royal fold, who felt their pain, who resonated with their struggle, Bauer's claims suggest a jarring reconsideration is necessary. The line between public persona and private strategy may be far thinner than anyone imagined. The empathy that many felt could have been, at least in part, the result of careful choreography. And the heartbreak? Perhaps a component of a larger plan, a tool to capture attention, to shape perception, to secure influence in the global media landscape. Yet, despite the allegations, there remains a veil of uncertainty. How much of Bauer's book is indisputable fact, and how much is interpretation? Are the claims an overreach, or do they reflect truths that have long been hidden from public view? As Harry and Meghan challenge the book in court, every revelation, every response, every twist in the legal saga adds another layer to the story. It's a chess game played on a global stage, with public opinion, media narratives, and royal legacy all in play. And here's the ultimate question. If Harry and Meghan did plan their departure and monetized it while appearing to suffer, does it diminish their humanity, or is it simply a masterclass in navigating modern celebrity and media? Can empathy coexist with strategy, or does the revelation of calculated planning inevitably erode the authenticity of their narrative? These are questions that cut to the core of our fascination with royalty, celebrity, and the stories we choose to believe. But the drama doesn't stop there. Behind the headlines, legal filings, and leaked memos lies the most tantalizing part of all, the secrets that the world has yet to fully uncover. The hidden communications, the untold stories, and the private moments that could reshape the narrative entirely. And as Bauer continues to reveal, and as the court proceedings unfold, one thing is clear: this story is far from over. The truth, whatever it may be, will continue to shock, surprise, and captivate audiences around the world. So, as we dive into this exposé, keep one question in mind. How much of what you believe about Harry and Meghan is real, and how much is part of a narrative meticulously crafted for global consumption? By the end of this journey, you may find that the story you thought you knew is only the beginning, and the twists, betrayals, and revelations waiting ahead are more dramatic than anything you could have imagined. Because what comes next will challenge everything you thought you knew about the couple, their motives, and the empire they built while the world watched, and no one saw it coming. What if the fairy tale exit you saw on television wasn't as spontaneous as it seemed? What if the tears, the heartbreak, the dramatic headlines, they were all part of a script written long before the cameras ever captured it? According to Tom Bauer, the man who dared to dig beneath the glossy surface of Harry and Meghan's royal narrative, the reality of their departure from the monarchy may shock you. He alleges that what was sold to the world as an emotional flight from royal oppression was, in fact, meticulously planned, months if not years in advance. Picture it. A young prince, long admired for his charisma and charm, steps out of the palace gates with his bride. Reporters scramble, cameras flash, social media erupts. The world watches, hearts full of empathy. But behind those perfectly framed public images, Bauer claims, was a couple quietly strategizing, mapping out every move, every statement, every tearful interview. The plan, according to him, was precise: build a sympathetic narrative, negotiate exclusive deals, and redefine themselves from royalty to global icons. The story begins not on the red carpet or in front of millions of viewers, but in private rooms behind palace walls. Sources cited by Bauer suggest meetings with media consultants, legal advisors, and financial planners took place long before the official announcement of their exit. Strategies were drawn up, Timelines were meticulously plotted. Every step was weighed against public perception. Every emotional disclosure considered for maximum impact. The picture painted is of a couple not merely reacting to royal life, but actively orchestrating an exit that would captivate the world. Yet, the public's perception was entirely different. Millions around the world believed they were witnessing a genuine flight from oppression. Headlines spoke of betrayal, heartbreak, and courage. Interviews recounted tales of isolation and mistreatment. Each story reinforced the narrative of the victimized royals. But Bauer's account challenges this understanding. He claims that much of what we saw, and what the world celebrated, was carefully choreographed. The tears, the moments of vulnerability, the outrage at alleged palace slights, they were part of a calculated timeline, designed to achieve a dual purpose: evoke empathy and secure a lucrative post-royal career. To understand this, consider the timing of key events. Public appearances, social media posts, exclusive interviews, they often coincided with media deals or contract negotiations. Bauer suggests that these weren't coincidences, but strategic maneuvers. Every surprise, interview, every tearful confession, every candid anecdote was positioned to maintain momentum, keep the narrative alive, and maximize attention. In essence, the couple's departure was a masterclass in modern celebrity strategy, orchestrated from behind the palace gates long before it became public knowledge. But there is more than just timing at play. Bauer claims there were private communications, emails, memos, and confidential correspondence, detailing plans for the exit. These documents allegedly show a meticulous orchestration: who would be told first, how stories would be leaked, and what messages the public would receive. The goal, according to Bauer, was to control the narrative entirely. To the world, they appeared reactive, caught off guard, victims of circumstance. Behind the scenes, they were proactive, calculating, and deliberate. The implications of such a claim are staggering. If Harry and Meghan did, in fact, orchestrate their departure, it reframes every public statement and every emotional moment we witnessed. The heartbreak is no longer purely emotional, it becomes strategic. The tears may not have been just expressions of sorrow, they may have been tools designed to elicit sympathy, media attention, and ultimately, opportunities for monetization. The public, captivated by their story, could be seen as unwitting participants in a carefully staged narrative. And yet, the couple's motivations may not have been solely financial. Bauer hints at the possibility that personal branding, global influence, and a desire to redefine themselves in the post-royal world were driving forces. It's a narrative that blends ambition with emotion, strategy with performance. In Bauer's view, the public's perception of an impulsive, emotionally driven exit was precisely the illusion Harry and Meghan intended to create. But how does one balance such meticulous planning with the genuine human experience of leaving one's family and institution behind? Here lies one of the most fascinating contradictions in Bauer's claims. The couple appeared deeply wounded, yet allegedly had rehearsed strategies and pre-negotiated deals. They cultivated empathy while simultaneously constructing influence. They presented themselves as victims while securing independence and opportunity. The tension between perception and reality is at the heart of the controversy, and the reason this story has gripped audiences worldwide. Bauer also raises questions about the interplay between private communications and public messaging. He suggests that advisors and media consultants played key roles in shaping the narrative. Leaked emails and memos, according to him, show detailed instructions on how to handle press inquiries, timing for social media disclosures, and the sequencing of interviews to ensure maximum public engagement. Every public statement, every social media post, every carefully posed photograph, designed not merely for aesthetics, but for strategic effect. The public was swept up in the emotional tide, often without realizing it. Stories of isolation, harassment, and injustice resonated deeply. Viewers identified with their struggles, celebrated their courage, and mourned their heartbreak. Yet, according to Bauer, the narrative we consumed may have been only one side of the story, a side curated to evoke empathy while masking the strategic planning unfolding behind the scenes. But the intrigue doesn't stop there. Bauer suggests that even personal anecdotes, moments meant to reveal intimacy, vulnerability, or authenticity, may have been selectively chosen for publication. By controlling what was shared and what remained private, Harry and Meghan allegedly shaped public perception, ensuring that the narrative aligned with both emotional resonance and strategic objectives. The result, a story that felt authentic, yet may have been designed to achieve precise outcomes in public opinion, media attention, and business opportunities. Now consider the implications for the monarchy. The narrative of victimhood positioned the couple in opposition to centuries of tradition. They appeared courageous, defiant, and principled. Yet, according to Bauer, the same narrative could have been carefully engineered to challenge royal authority, enhance personal branding, and secure a place in global media landscapes. The timing of announcements, public disclosures, and emotional revelations, if orchestrated, suggests a sophistication and strategy that transcends ordinary public relations. And yet, questions remain. How much of Bauer's account is undeniable fact, and how much interpretation? Were Harry and Meghan truly strategizing? Or are we witnessing the perception of strategy where spontaneity actually existed? Bauer's meticulous research, interviews, and document analysis suggest intention, but in a story this complex, certainty is elusive. The tension between intention and interpretation fuels the controversy and keeps audiences riveted. But perhaps the most compelling question of all is this. If Bauer's allegations hold weight, what does it mean for our understanding of truth, celebrity, and authenticity? Can public figures navigate personal ambition and genuine emotion simultaneously? Or does revealing a strategy, whether fully accurate or partially inferred, inevitably reshape how the world perceives authenticity? The stakes are enormous, not just for Harry and Meghan, but for everyone who has invested emotionally in their story. And just as we begin to grapple with these questions, the drama intensifies. Legal battles are looming, media scrutiny is relentless, and public curiosity is at an all-time high. Harry and Meghan's decision to take Bauer to court has only magnified attention, drawing the world deeper into a narrative that is already rich with intrigue, contradiction, and suspense. Every court filing, every press statement, every leaked document adds another layer of complexity, forcing us to reassess what we thought we knew. So, as we peel back the layers of this story, one thing becomes clear. The origins of Harry and Meghan's royal exit may not be as straightforward as the fairy tale presented on the world stage. There are secrets, strategies, and orchestrated moments that the public has yet to fully understand. And as we move forward into the unfolding chapters of this expose, one question lingers above all. How much of what we witnessed was genuine, and how much was part of a meticulously planned performance that even the most loyal fans could never have predicted? Because the truth, shocking, complex, and riveting, lies just beyond the surface. And what comes next will pull back the curtain on the most controversial royal exit in modern history, revealing layers of ambition, strategy, and human emotion that no one could have anticipated. Imagine leaving the most powerful institution in the world, an entire monarchy, and walking straight into a global spotlight that demands not just your story, but your brand. According to Tom Bauer, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle didn't just step away from royal duties. They orchestrated a meticulous branding blueprint that turned heartbreak into opportunity, emotion into influence, and departure into a media empire. The public may have seen tears, heartfelt confessions, and moments of vulnerability. Behind closed doors, Bauer claims, they saw strategy, planning, and an intricate design to shape the narrative around them. The first element of this blueprint, Bauer alleges, was timing. Every public statement, every interview, and every media appearance aligned with key deals or contract launches. The famous Oprah interview, which captured global attention and generated enormous empathy for the couple, didn't just occur spontaneously, according to Bauer. He suggests that it was carefully timed to coincide with the ramping up of lucrative Netflix and Spotify deals, contracts that would redefine their post-royal income and cement their independence from the palace. The optics of vulnerability, the strategic reveal of intimate personal struggles, and the carefully curated moments of empathy were all part of a coordinated plan designed to maximize both public sympathy and financial opportunity. Next came control of the narrative. Bauer claims that Harry and Meghan employed advisors, media consultants, and PR strategists to craft statements, pre-approve social media posts, and even rehearse interviews. The goal? to present themselves as authentic, relatable, and heroic figures who had been wronged by the monarchy, while simultaneously shaping public perception to highlight independence, resilience, and charisma. Every photo, every Instagram post, every carefully staged video was allegedly scrutinized for impact. Nothing was left to chance, and the public, captivated by these polished stories, accepted them as genuine reflections of the couple's emotional truth. Then there was the strategic use of exclusivity and anticipation. Bauer highlights how selective leaks to the press were timed to maintain attention and generate buzz. Exclusive stories about struggles, personal revelations, and emotional moments were released just as global interest peaked, ensuring that every headline reinforced the narrative of a couple bravely navigating a hostile institution. The timing, placement, and content of these stories created a sense of intimacy with the audience while maintaining a meticulously constructed barrier between the private reality and the public perception. Financial leverage played a central role in the branding blueprint as well. Bauer alleges that the couple's decisions were guided by an understanding of their marketability. By stepping away from royal duties at a moment when public fascination was high, they positioned themselves to command unprecedented media contracts. Netflix, Spotify, and other media deals weren't incidental. They were a key part of the strategy, providing financial independence while cementing global influence. The optics of personal struggle amplified the commercial value of these contracts, ensuring that the world would pay to watch and listen to their story unfold. But the brilliance or controversy of the branding blueprint, according to Bauer, was its dual nature. Harry and Meghan projected vulnerability, heartbreak, and victimhood while simultaneously exerting careful control over every aspect of their story. The public saw raw emotion. Behind the scenes, every tear, every confession, and every private anecdote was considered, timed, and delivered for maximum impact. This duality, the interplay between authenticity and strategy, was central to the success of their brand transformation. Bauer also emphasizes the importance of global reach and audience segmentation in the blueprint. The couple didn't just target traditional media. They understood social media, international platforms, and niche audiences. Every interview, every public appearance, and every online post was strategically crafted to resonate with different demographics, from royal enthusiasts to social justice advocates, pop culture followers, and media consumers hungry for intimate insights. The careful tailoring of messaging allowed them to expand influence across multiple segments while maintaining the appearance of spontaneity and emotional honesty. But Bauer doesn't stop at the mechanics of strategy. He explores the psychological impact on the public. By positioning themselves as empathetic victims fighting against institutional constraints, Harry and Meghan created a narrative that audiences wanted to believe. The emotional resonance was amplified by visual cues, staged photographs, and carefully orchestrated public moments. Audiences felt connected, loyal, and invested. Yet, according to Bauer, that connection may have been engineered, a product of strategic planning rather than pure circumstance. Another key element of the branding blueprint was storytelling through contrast. Bauer claims that the couple used the monarchy as a foil, representing tradition, duty, and rigidity, while they projected modernity, freedom, and progressiveness. This contrast enhanced the drama, amplified public engagement, and created a narrative tension that kept audiences enthralled. Every statement about royal constraints, every critique of palace protocols, every depiction of emotional struggle served to reinforce this storytelling framework. The public, captivated by the drama, often failed to question the orchestration behind it. Bauer also explores the role of secrecy and mystery. By withholding certain details and selectively revealing others, Harry and Meghan maintained a sense of intrigue. Anonymous sources, undisclosed meetings, and private communications created a narrative texture that kept the media and public guessing. The deliberate ambiguity enhanced curiosity, ensured ongoing attention, and positioned the couple as both relatable and enigmatic. This use of mystery, according to Bauer, was a critical component of the branding blueprint. Then there's the element of performance. Every public appearance was carefully choreographed. From red carpet events to charity engagements, Bauer alleges that gestures, expressions, and interactions were designed to evoke specific emotions. The warmth of a hand gesture, the timing of a glance, the cadence of a statement. All were potentially calculated to reinforce the narrative of courage, empathy, and authenticity. The skillful use of performance blurred the line between reality and presentation, captivating audiences while concealing the mechanics of the strategy. And yet, while Bauer presents a compelling argument for strategy and planning, contradictions emerge. The couple's claims of spontaneity, moments of genuine emotion, and personal struggles cannot be entirely dismissed. The tension between authenticity and orchestration is precisely what makes the branding blueprint so fascinating. Audiences are left to navigate a narrative in which emotion, strategy, and reality intersect, sometimes seamlessly, sometimes dissonantly. This tension fuels curiosity and ensures that every new revelation becomes a point of debate and fascination. Ultimately, Bauer paints a picture of a couple who mastered the art of modern media navigation. By combining timing, narrative control, emotional resonance, exclusivity, financial leverage, audience segmentation, storytelling contrast, mystery, and performance, Harry and Meghan allegedly transformed their royal departure into a brand phenomenon. The blueprint was sophisticated, multifaceted, and meticulously executed, an audacious attempt to redefine not only their lives but their public image on a global scale. Yet, despite the precision of the plan, the public remains divided. Supporters celebrate their courage and resilience. Critics question authenticity and motives. The branding blueprint, according to Bauer, is both a masterstroke and a point of contention. It challenges assumptions, evokes debate, and demands that we reconsider how emotion, strategy, and media intersect in shaping public perception. And just when it seems the blueprint has revealed all its secrets, a twist emerges. Bauer hints at communications, negotiations, and behind-the-scenes maneuvers that even the media has yet to uncover, elements that could upend everything we think we know about the couple's departure. The story, he suggests, is far from complete. Every deal, every interview, every strategic move is part of a larger tapestry that continues to unfold in real time, and the most shocking revelations may still be ahead. Because while the branding blueprint explains strategy, timing, and performance, it raises the ultimate question: how much of what we witnessed was crafted for empathy, and how much was driven by ambition? The answer remains elusive, and as the legal battles heat up, as the media scrutinizes every move, and as the public debates what is true, one thing becomes clear. This chapter of Harry and Meghan's story is only the beginning, and what comes next will redefine the narrative once and for all, and no one saw it coming. Have you ever wondered what really happens behind the polished walls of Buckingham Palace, away from the cameras and public scrutiny? While the world was captivated by Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's public struggle, Bauer claims a different, far more calculated story was unfolding behind closed doors. Meetings, memos, whispered conversations. What the public saw as a shocking departure may have been the carefully orchestrated result of strategic planning, insider coordination, and private maneuvering. According to Bauer, the real drama didn't always happen on red carpets or in tearful interviews. It happened in rooms the public would never see, where the stakes were high, and every move was calculated. Picture the palace corridors, ornate chandeliers, polished floors, echoing footsteps, staff bustling quietly, aides moving in carefully choreographed patterns, advisors leaning in to relay subtle guidance. Bauer paints a scene of an institution that appeared rigid and imposing on the surface, yet underneath, a complex network of communication, strategy, and influence thrived. It's here, in these private spaces, that he claims the real orchestration took place. According to sources cited in the book, Harry and Meghan did not simply react to palace constraints. They were constantly assessing, negotiating, and planning. Private meetings with royal aides, legal advisors, and media consultants reportedly shaped the timing of every announcement. Conversations that might have seemed mundane, emails about schedules, discussions about upcoming interviews, approvals for social media posts, were allegedly instrumental in building the narrative that the public would later consume. Bauer's research suggests a level of foresight and strategy that, if true, reframes our understanding of the couple's royal exit. But it wasn't just about planning logistics. Bauer claims that behind palace doors, there were tense discussions, quiet disagreements, and strategic calculations about how the monarchy itself would be portrayed in public statements. The couple reportedly debated how to present perceived injustices, what details to reveal, and which moments of vulnerability to emphasize. Every private decision had public consequences, and every private conversation was part of a broader strategy to manage perception. Insiders described moments of friction and tension. Some staff reportedly sensed that the couple's narrative in private didn't always align with their public statements. Meetings that seemed routine, according to Bauer, occasionally revealed the meticulous attention paid to timing and messaging. Decisions about media interviews, public appearances, and charitable engagements were reportedly coordinated with advisors outside the palace, ensuring alignment with the overarching strategy. Bauer implies that these behind-the-scenes maneuvers were not reactive but proactive, designed to control the story before the story even unfolded. One of the most intriguing aspects Bauer highlights is the alleged use of private channels of communication. Emails, encrypted messages, and discreet conversations reportedly ensured that key information moved smoothly between the couple and their advisors. Sensitive topics, ranging from media deals to timing of public statements, were allegedly discussed in closed environments, away from palace scrutiny. Bauer suggests that these communications were crucial in shaping a narrative that balanced emotional authenticity with strategic advantage. And then there's the role of allies and confidants. Bauer claims that certain palace aides, friends, and advisors played key roles in executing the plans. While publicly presenting loyalty to the institution, these insiders allegedly facilitated private strategies that aligned with the couple's objectives. It's a complex web of trust, discretion, and sometimes conflicting loyalties, a delicate balancing act that could have amplified the impact of every public move, while keeping the palace itself largely unaware of the extent of the orchestration. Bauer also delves into the psychological dimensions of this behind-the-scenes narrative. The couple, he claims, was acutely aware of how perception shapes reality. By controlling what was revealed in private and what was presented publicly, they allegedly ensured that the story consumed by the media would evoke maximum empathy. Staff who witnessed these discussions reportedly described an intense focus on maintaining appearances, crafting the narrative of the couple as both relatable and heroic, while shielding the most strategic elements from scrutiny. Yet, there were contradictions. Not all palace staff reportedly supported or understood the strategies being employed. Some were reportedly frustrated by what they saw as selective disclosures or manipulations of timing. Bauer highlights moments where private intentions may have clashed with public optics, creating tension both within the palace and in the execution of the broader narrative. This tension, he suggests, contributed to the drama that would later explode publicly, creating the perfect storm for a media spectacle. Bauer also examines the intersection of strategy and emotion behind palace doors. While there are indications that the couple planned meticulously, he doesn't claim that emotion was absent. Private expressions of doubt, frustration, or vulnerability were reportedly real, even if leveraged strategically in public narratives. The combination of genuine emotional experience with calculated storytelling, according to Bauer, made the public persona even more compelling. Viewers and readers connected to what appeared authentic, while the underlying strategy amplified the impact. And then there are the private disputes with palace officials. Bauer claims that conversations about protocol, personal freedoms, and public expectations were not always confrontational, but often calculated. Each disagreement, each negotiation, reportedly fed into the larger plan, positioning the couple as victims of rigid institutions while preparing them to exit on their own terms. This behind-the-scenes chess game was intricate, high-stakes, and largely invisible to the public, yet it set the stage for every dramatic headline that followed. Behind palace doors, Bauer alleges, every detail mattered. Seating arrangements for public appearances, the timing of announcements, even wardrobe choices were reportedly considered for their symbolic and narrative impact. Advisors, friends, and insiders allegedly coordinated these details meticulously. Public moments of vulnerability, tears, confessions, statements of injustice, were not left to chance. They were curated, rehearsed, and timed for maximum effect. The public experienced a narrative that seemed spontaneous, yet it may have been the result of careful orchestration. And what about the personal dynamics? Bauer paints a picture of Harry and Meghan as deeply strategic, yet also navigating the emotional realities of leaving a family, an institution, and a life they had known since birth. The emotional complexity, fear, guilt, relief, ambition, interacted with the strategic planning in ways that made the story even more compelling. It wasn't just a corporate or branding exercise, it was deeply personal. Yet, in Bauer's view, the personal and the strategic were intertwined, each amplifying the other in service of the narrative. Finally, Bauer suggests that some of the most explosive elements of the story remain hidden. Documents, communications, and testimonies that may never reach the public eye could reveal even more about the planning behind the departure. The palace itself, according to Bauer, may still hold secrets that could shift public perception, challenge assumptions, and redefine what we think we know about the couple's exit. Every staff member, every confidant, every advisor may hold a piece of a puzzle that, if revealed, could transform the narrative entirely. As we leave the palace corridors and step back into public view, one truth emerges from Bauer's account. The drama we saw unfold was only the tip of the iceberg. Behind the doors, in private rooms, and in confidential communications, a narrative was being carefully crafted. A narrative designed to elicit empathy, manage perception, and set the stage for a post-royal brand empire. And while the public may never see all the details, the shadow of these behind-the-scenes strategies looms over every interview, every announcement, and every public appearance that followed. Because as the story continues to unfold, one thing is certain. The next revelation will pull back the curtain even further, exposing the hidden dynamics that shaped the most controversial royal exit of our time, and no one saw it coming. When the world tuned in to the Oprah interview, millions watched with bated breath. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the couple who had captured global attention, appeared vulnerable, raw, and heartbroken. Every tear, every pause, every revelation seemed to confirm what the public had been suspecting. They were victims of a centuries-old institution, oppressed by the rigid traditions and unyielding scrutiny of the British monarchy. But according to Tom Bauer, the reality may have been far more complicated than what met the eye. Was the interview an unfiltered moment of truth, or was it a carefully orchestrated performance designed to further the couple's personal and professional agenda? Bauer argues that the interview was no accident. While viewers experienced an intimate, emotional conversation, he claims that behind the scenes, there was meticulous planning and preparation. Advisors and media consultants reportedly helped craft the narrative, select the key topics, and guide the messaging in ways that maximized emotional impact while reinforcing the strategic story of victimhood. Every question, every answer, every tearful anecdote, he alleges, was designed not just to reveal personal struggles, but to shape public perception in a way that would amplify the couple's brand and secure lucrative media opportunities. Consider the timing. The interview aired after months of escalating tension in the media. Bauer claims the couple and their advisors were acutely aware of the media cycle, public interest, and the strategic advantage of revealing their side of the story at that precise moment. The optics were perfect, a global audience primed for emotional connection, sympathetic press coverage, and viral social media conversations. By choosing the timing so carefully, they ensured maximum exposure while framing themselves as courageous figures daring to speak out against a powerful institution. Then there's the content itself. Bauer points to specific claims made during the interview that, when examined alongside private communications and insider accounts, suggest a level of premeditation. Allegations of racism within the royal family, accounts of mental health struggles, and stories of isolation were all presented in a manner that evoked empathy and outrage. According to Bauer, these narratives weren't spontaneously remembered or shared. They were carefully curated, with guidance on how to convey them most effectively to a global audience. The goal, he argues, was to solidify a public perception of the couple as both relatable and heroic, while positioning themselves as victims who had been forced to make difficult decisions to protect their family and sanity. The visual storytelling also played a critical role. From body language to wardrobe choices, every element of the interview was designed to reinforce the narrative. Meghan's choice of attire, Harry's posture, their tone of voice. These details, according to Bauer, were all carefully considered. Advisors reportedly coached them on how to present emotion authentically, ensuring that tears, hesitations, and expressions appeared genuine, even if the messaging had been pre-planned. The intersection of performance and reality created a compelling narrative that resonated deeply with viewers, leaving an indelible impression worldwide. Bauer doesn't just focus on the public presentation. He delves into the behind-the-scenes preparation. Rehearsals, talking points, and scenario planning reportedly ensured that the couple could anticipate questions, manage potential pitfalls, and guide the conversation toward topics that would reinforce their strategic objectives. The result was an interview that appeared candid and spontaneous, but may have been the culmination of extensive preparation. For the public, it was raw, emotional, and authentic. For Bauer, and according to the evidence he cites, it was an intricate act of storytelling designed to advance both image and opportunity. The aftermath of the interview also feeds into Bauer's claims. Public reaction was immediate and polarized. Millions expressed empathy, shared the interview widely, and praised the couple for their courage. But social media analysts and media experts noted how perfectly timed the narrative was to coincide with subsequent media deals, including book contracts, Netflix programming, and speaking engagements. The alignment of emotional revelation and commercial opportunity, Bauer suggests, is unlikely to be coincidental. It paints a picture of a narrative carefully engineered to maximize both sympathy and strategic advantage. Bauer further examines contradictions between public statements and private communications. Some sources reportedly indicate that certain claims made during the interview may not fully align with documented events, private conversations, or palace records. These discrepancies, he argues, suggest that while the emotional impact was real, the portrayal of events may have been selectively framed to achieve specific narrative goals. The tension between perceived truth and strategic storytelling is central to the controversy and is what makes the interview a focal point in understanding the couple's alleged orchestration. Another aspect Bauer explores is the role of the interviewer. Oprah Winfrey, one of the most influential media figures in the world, reportedly worked closely with the couple and their team to ensure the interview maintained a balance of empathy and revelation. Bauer suggests that the collaboration may have gone beyond typical journalistic practice, encompassing guidance on narrative flow, key questions, and even framing emotional responses. The result was an interview that appeared organic, but may have been strategically shaped to maximize impact and reinforce the couple's public image. And yet, the interview also demonstrates the complex interplay of emotion and strategy. According to Bauer, moments of genuine vulnerability were interwoven with carefully considered messaging. The audience could feel the authenticity of personal struggle, yet behind the scenes, these moments were positioned to serve a larger narrative framework. The effect was mesmerizing. Viewers believed they were witnessing raw, unfiltered emotion, while simultaneously consuming a story crafted to resonate, persuade, and influence public perception. The interview also ignited debate over credibility and authenticity. Critics questioned the timing, the content, and the alignment with business ventures. Supporters defended the couple's courage and openness. Bauer uses these reactions to underscore how well the interview achieved its intended effect. It dominated media coverage, fueled social conversation, and solidified Harry and Meghan's position as central figures in a global narrative about royalty, media, and personal freedom. Yet the most compelling question remains: how much of what was revealed was truth, and how much was narrative engineering? According to Bauer, the lines are blurred. He points to strategic planning, prior communications, and calculated timing as evidence that the interview was as much a media event as it was a personal confession. The duality, raw emotion intertwined with careful orchestration, makes it one of the most fascinating and controversial moments in modern royal history. And as the interview continues to reverberate through media, public opinion, and legal proceedings, one thing is clear: the story doesn't end with a broadcast. Behind-the-scenes communications, private discussions, and insider accounts continue to surface, suggesting that the interview was only one act in a much larger narrative strategy. Every revelation, every public response, and every media analysis adds another layer, deepening both the intrigue and the controversy. So, as we move beyond the televised tears and into the deeper mechanics of strategy, one question lingers. Was the Oprah interview a moment of unfiltered honesty or a masterclass in narrative engineering? Bauer's investigation suggests that the answer is far more complex than the public realized, and that the most shocking truths may still be hidden just beyond the camera's lens. Because what comes next will delve into the legal battles, leaked evidence, and private communications that could redefine everything we think we know about Harry and Meghan's story, and no one saw it coming. The public spectacle of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's departure from the royal family had already captured global attention, but according to Tom Bauer, the story was about to take an even more intense turn. Legal battles were looming, and the stakes could not have been higher. The allegations in Bauer's latest book didn't just challenge the couple's narrative. They threatened to unravel the carefully curated image that had been built since they stepped away from royal duties. In the world of high-profile celebrity, reputation is everything, and according to Bauer, Harry and Meghan understood that every claim, every accusation, and every public statement would have far-reaching consequences. It begins with the lawsuit. Harry and Meghan, Bauer claims, were swift to act, taking the author to court in a bid to protect their brand, their narrative, and their privacy. The lawsuit itself, with its legal filings and public statements, became a story in its own right. Headlines blared across newspapers and social media, the couple fighting back against a book that purported to expose their darkest secrets. But according to Bauer, and as legal analysts have noted, the act of filing suit was strategic in itself. It allowed Harry and Meghan to maintain control of the narrative while generating yet another wave of public attention that further reinforced their status as both victims and media-savvy figures. Legal filings, Bauer suggests, reveal the meticulous nature of the couple's approach. Every paragraph, every claim, every reference to privacy or defamation was carefully considered. The lawyers involved didn't just aim to protect reputation, they aimed to manage perception. By challenging the book in court, Harry and Meghan could publicly position themselves as wronged parties, asserting authority over their story while simultaneously drawing attention to the very claims they sought to refute. It's a delicate balancing act, and according to Bauer, one that the couple executed with precision. But the legal battle is about more than just public perception. Bauer claims that behind the courtroom doors lies a complex web of evidence, testimony, and counterclaims. Leaked documents, emails, and communications referenced in the book could form the basis of critical discussions about intent, planning, and authenticity. Legal experts reportedly indicate that these documents, if entered as evidence, could either bolster the couple's defense or expose further contradictions in their narrative. Every line, every paragraph, every reference has the potential to shift the outcome of the case and redefine public understanding of the royal exit. Bauer emphasizes the psychological toll of these proceedings. Lawsuits are not just legal matters. They are media events, public spectacles, and emotional trials all at once. Harry and Meghan reportedly faced immense pressure, navigating the dual demands of legal strategy and media attention. Every court appearance, every filing, and every statement made headlines worldwide. The public watched, analyzed, and debated, often forming opinions long before the legal process concluded. In this high-stakes environment, perception often matters as much as fact, and Bauer argues that the couple's media acumen played a crucial role in managing both. The lawsuits also reveal the interconnectedness of strategy and legal maneuvering. According to Bauer, advisors and legal teams coordinated closely, ensuring that every public action, statement, and social media post aligned with court filings and broader strategic objectives. Timing was critical. A premature statement could undermine the case. A delayed response could allow the narrative to take on a life of its own. The couple's ability to navigate this complex landscape, Bauer suggests, reflects a sophisticated understanding of both law and media, demonstrating that the royal exit was as much a strategic operation as it was a personal journey. And then there are the reactions from the media and public. Bauer notes that every development in the lawsuit sparked waves of coverage. Analysts dissected each legal move, commentators speculated on outcomes, and social media erupted with theories about the couple's motives. Supporters framed the lawsuit as a necessary defense against invasive scrutiny. Critics argued it was an attempt to suppress truth and protect a carefully constructed narrative. In the swirl of coverage, The legal battle itself became a tool for shaping perception, a reality that Bauer believes was understood and leveraged by Harry and Meghan from the outset. The court proceedings also provide insight into the interpersonal dynamics of the couple. Bauer highlights reports of private discussions, strategic planning sessions, and advisor briefings that occurred in preparation for court appearances. The couple reportedly reviewed every aspect of the book, analyzed potential weaknesses, and rehearsed responses to anticipated questions. According to Bauer, this level of preparation underscores their awareness of the stakes and their commitment to controlling the narrative even within the confines of a formal legal setting. But it isn't just about the couple. Bauer's account reveals the involvement of a broader network of allies, critics, and advisors. Lawyers, PR consultants, and media strategists all played roles in shaping both the legal and public dimensions of the case. Former palace aides, journalists, and commentators contributed indirectly, their insights and reporting influencing public perception and, potentially, the courtroom itself. The interplay between these various actors creates a high-stakes, multidimensional drama in which strategy, emotion, and law collide. One of the most striking aspects Bauer emphasizes is the potential for unintended consequences. While the lawsuit was intended to protect reputation and control the narrative, the very act of going to court amplified attention to the claims in the book. Every headline about legal filings, court arguments, and insider revelations increased public curiosity. Social media engagement soared, with fans and critics dissecting every detail. In attempting to suppress or counter the book's narrative, the couple inadvertently magnified it, turning the legal battle into another chapter in the saga of their post-royal life. Bauer also explores the subtle interplay of power, influence, and image within the legal context. Harry and Meghan are not just individuals. They are public figures with global recognition. Their actions carry symbolic weight, influencing media coverage, public opinion, and even broader cultural narratives about celebrity, authority, and authenticity. By engaging in legal battles, the couple wields their influence strategically, shaping discourse while simultaneously defending their private interests. Bauer argues that understanding this dynamic is crucial to comprehending the full scope of the royal exit story. Yet, there are moral and ethical questions as well. According to Bauer, the lawsuit raises issues about freedom of speech, investigative journalism, and the responsibilities of public figures. By challenging Bauer's book, the couple asserts the right to protect their narrative and privacy. At the same time, critics argue that attempts to suppress reporting may hinder transparency and public understanding. This tension between personal privacy, legal protection, and public accountability adds another layer of complexity to the saga, one that continues to unfold with each court filing and media report. As the legal battle unfolds, Bauer suggests that the most revealing moments may yet come. Witness testimony, document discovery, and cross-examinations have the potential to uncover previously hidden aspects of planning, strategy, and interpersonal dynamics. Each revelation could reinforce or contradict elements of the public narrative, keeping audiences engaged and questioning what is real and what is orchestrated. The stakes are monumental. The outcome of the lawsuit could shape not only the couple's reputation, but also public understanding of modern celebrity, media influence, and the role of the monarchy in a rapidly changing world. And so, as we watch the courtroom drama develop, one truth becomes apparent. This is no ordinary legal battle. It is a high-stakes contest over narrative, influence, and public perception. Every argument, every filing, every testimony has consequences far beyond the confines of the courtroom. The public watches, invested in the outcome, analyzing every detail, and wondering, will the truth finally emerge, or will strategy and perception continue to dominate the story? Because the next revelation, the next leaked document, or the next unexpected twist in court could change everything we thought we knew about Harry and Meghan's royal exit, and no one saw it coming. In any high-stakes story, the proof is in the paperwork. According to Tom Bauer, the real bombshells in the Harry and Meghan saga lie not just in public statements or tearful interviews, but in the documents, memos, and emails that never made it to headlines. These private communications, he alleges, reveal a level of planning and coordination that challenges the narrative of spontaneity and victimhood. And now, as the legal battle intensifies, these documents are being scrutinized with unprecedented attention. They may hold the key to understanding what was orchestrated, what was genuine, and what was carefully curated for public consumption. Bauer claims that among the most revealing evidence are internal memos and communications exchanged between the couple and their advisors. These documents, he suggests, detail strategic planning around media appearances, timing of public announcements, and even the sequencing of interviews to coincide with major deals. The level of foresight is striking. Every detail, from the content of public statements to the framing of emotional moments, appears to have been considered and pre-approved. These documents paint a picture not of a couple reacting to circumstance, but of individuals meticulously orchestrating their departure to achieve maximum impact. Take, for example, emails reportedly exchanged with media consultants. According to Bauer, these communications outline the precise framing of stories, including which personal experiences to highlight, how to convey vulnerability, and when to reveal key details. Advisors were allegedly consulted on the wording of social media posts, the timing of public statements, and even the selection of images used for official announcements. The goal, according to Bauer, was to create a coherent narrative that aligned public perception with the couple's strategic objectives while maintaining the appearance of authenticity. Memos referenced in Bauer's book also highlight the integration of emotion and strategy. One document allegedly details the timing of a public disclosure alongside a major Netflix announcement, ensuring that the emotional resonance of the story would be amplified by commercial opportunity. Another memo reportedly outlines talking points for interviews, specifying which experiences to emphasize and which to downplay. According to Bauer, these memos suggest a level of intentionality that complicates the public narrative of spontaneous vulnerability. The heartbreak, he argues, may have been both real and strategically presented. Leaked communications further illuminate the internal coordination that reportedly took place. Advisors, lawyers, and media strategists allegedly worked closely with the couple to monitor public reaction, adjust messaging, and anticipate potential fallout. Every social media post, interview, and public appearance was reportedly cross-referenced with prior communications to ensure consistency and impact. Bauer suggests that this level of coordination demonstrates an unprecedented sophistication in managing both narrative and brand. Some of the most explosive revelations, Bauer claims, lie in timing and sequencing. Memos allegedly show that certain interviews and public appearances were intentionally aligned to follow or precede media coverage of specific events, such as palace announcements or political developments. The timing was designed to maximize attention, ensure sympathetic framing, and leverage public sentiment in favor of the couple. The optics of vulnerability, he argues, were carefully calibrated to resonate with audiences and reinforce the narrative of victimhood while simultaneously advancing strategic objectives. Bauer also explores contradictions between public claims and private communications. Some emails reportedly suggest that discussions behind the scenes did not always reflect the story presented publicly. Private conversations, memos, and drafts of statements may have contained alternative explanations, planning notes, or strategic considerations that never appeared on camera or in print. These discrepancies, according to Bauer, highlight the tension between narrative control and public perception, raising questions about authenticity, intention, and the interplay between personal emotion and strategic communication. And then there are the personal dynamics revealed through correspondence. Bauer claims that emails exchanged between Harry and Meghan and their advisors provide insight into their thought processes, emotional considerations, and planning priorities. Moments of doubt, concern, or reflection are interwoven with discussions of strategy, timing, and messaging. The juxtaposition of personal emotion with deliberate planning suggests a complex interplay between authenticity and orchestration, a balance that may have contributed to the compelling public persona the couple presented. Leaked memos and emails also shed light on financial considerations. Bauer claims some communications reference timing of public disclosures in relation to media deals, speaking engagements, and other revenue-generating opportunities. This alignment of emotional storytelling with financial strategy adds another layer to the narrative, suggesting that the couple may have been simultaneously managing personal narrative, public perception, and post-royal income. It is a delicate balance, one that, if true, demonstrates a sophisticated understanding of media influence, audience engagement, and brand building. The evidence also reveals the role of trusted intermediaries. Advisors, legal teams, and media consultants reportedly acted as both strategists and gatekeepers, ensuring that communications were consistent, effective, and aligned with overarching objectives. Emails and memos allegedly document instructions, approvals, and feedback loops, illustrating the collaborative effort involved in shaping both narrative and brand.